Piper, I remember I found out I was wrestling Roddy. I was kind of like, well, me and Roddy are friends, right? Like, I wasn't really sure because he was off. Couldn't connect with him. I'd see him at TV tapings. He was only kind of coming down for the TV shows, and he wasn't on the road or anything. So I saw him, and it was all very sudden. Like, I lost the belt to the Mountie and did that whole angle, and then when Roddy got it, I was kind of like, almost kind of felt like I got swerved. Like, oh, this is all set. They promised me the belt, and now they put it on Roddy. And I'm like, but, and Roddy told me, like, he's dropping the belt back to me. But, and I know if Roddy was just playing with me in those days, because we were pretty good buddies. And, but he kept joking that, that we might have to shoot for it out there. And I'm like, I'm always like, I know you're joking, but I don't know if you're joking. Like you're the one saying it, And it was kind of like a bit of a joke, but I was like, he said stuff to me sometimes, like, or he'd kind of promo on me, and he would look at me like, he was ribbing me that he was getting really serious about this match, and I started to get kind of like, maybe he is getting kind of, I don't know, like maybe it's gonna be more of a struggle than I thought. Like, but anyway, my point is that you kind of plan like, okay, I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll figure it out. And then I kind of mapped out what I thought how the match should go in my head. And at that time, I was super respectful of Roddy. Like Roddy was one of the biggest legends in the business at the time, and it was like, I just hope I can have a good match with him, and we really hit it out of the park and all that. But I didn't really know. Roddy kept kind of playing with my head a little bit, where he was like, we might have to shoot out there, and you better get ready because I'm coming, or like it was always kind of like, I always was smiling, kind of like, are you with me, or are we gonna? Because me and Roddy, there was a couple of times, more than once, at least a couple of times with Roddy where we would be in a hotel room after drinking beer, and all of a sudden he would just tackle me in the room. And he would start wrestling me, like amateur wrestling or whatever. We would wrestle for about 45 minutes, tipping over the beds, knocking things over, until I remember one time it got so heavy in the fighting and rolling around and knocking couches over and stuff that the security came in, and we were still wrestling on the rug, and somebody from the hotel, the bellman was there. And I remember he finally agreed, or Roddy agreed for me, that we would stop wrestling and fighting if he would go down and get us each one more beer. So he went down and brought us back one more beer each. And I remember when he brought the beer back, we were still wrestling on the floor when he came back in. And when he stopped and brought the beer, I couldn't believe that he actually brought beer to like, please stop fighting. And as soon as he brought the beer, I shot through the door. And then I had to go through the whole thing again with my first wife, because she was waiting for me. I think I left to go get something from Roddy, and 4 hours later I came back with mat burns all over my forehead and elbows, and she wouldn't talk to me, and she was so mad. And I remember first thing in the morning, Roddy, he was like, I'm so sorry about last night, and he was holding her hand, patting her hand, and telling her that it was all his fault. And I never heard another thing about it. It was like, she was always forgiven because it was Roddy. But anyway, Roddy, that was the match where I put a lot of thought into it, and I thought, this is how the match should go. And then it's like, well, what's going to happen when I sit down with Roddy? And he goes, I want to do this. And I'm like, well, I want to do this. And I thought, I've got the perfect match in my head. And I just was like, and of course I would have to do what Roddy was more my senior at that time. So I remember we were in Halifax, and first time we saw each other was about 2 weeks before WrestleMania. And we were always buddy, but we sat down in this restaurant, and I remember he goes, so what do you want to do? And I said, well, I got some ideas and stuff, but I remember I said, well, what do you want to do? And I remember in that moment, I was like, What if he tells me a lousy idea? Do I have the guts to say, Roddy, that idea sucks? Like, and I remember he started, I said, you tell me what you want to do. And he started to tell me the match. And he laid out the whole match about, like, let me put it this way. Roddy had the exact same match that I did.